Hockey fans, welcome inside Mile 1 Center in downtown St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador for edition 2 of On the Growl. I'm Brian Rogers with the pride of Gould's, Newfoundland and Labrador, number 43 defenseman James Melindy. First of all, tell me about the day it was announced that the Newfoundland Growlers were becoming part of the ECHL. What went off in your body, in your head? Overall, what was the first feeling that came to you when you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, first off, thanks for having me on here. It's always a pleasure sitting down and having a chat. I know in the past few years when the Ice Caps were around, we sat down and talked a little bit. But as far as when the team was being named and things of that nature, for me, there was rumblings going on before it actually got released that it was going to happen. Guys on my team in Utah were actually joking with me saying, oh, Newfoundland's getting a team, you're going to end up there, you're going to end up there. So obviously when the news was released, it was obviously an exciting time for fans here in Newfoundland to get hockey back because they are such passionate fans of the game. And for myself, it was obviously a target right away of a place that I wanted to be. You
look at the skill set on this hockey team and the different interchangeable parts, even with guys like Adam not, really getting in there yet, still trying to recover, some other fellows that haven't made their way here yet. This is a skilled hockey team with, guys have already been recalled. Giorgio is with the Marlies right now. Brady was up for a cup of coffee. I'm sure every guy in that room believes in their heart. You just keep pushing the pedal to the metal, playing hard, bringing what you can bring every night, and it could be you next.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got a couple call-ups that happened so far this season, and the feedback that we've been getting back is the transition for them as they've been able to jump right into games and be an impact. And for a lot of teams and players, it's called up guys, it's a little bit of a feeling out process, but the way we're running things here is pretty seamless with what they're doing with the Marlies and with the Maple Leafs, so it makes it easier in that sense. A lot of the players you look at that are here now, in any other organization, they could probably be AHL players. So we're very fortunate with the players that we did get from the Toronto Marlies, and I know in the summertime, a lot of the speculation was, well, nobody signed here, we only got 5 players under contract, but from the outside looking in, you don't realize how much of a benefit being affiliated with a team like Toronto is, that they were going to send us a ton of players. And no, it seems to be working out well. We get a good group of guys that are gelling really well, and we're starting to fire on all cylinders now. Good for you.
James, when you were named captain, and I'll go back to my original question, what was it like for you from a physical, mental standpoint? I mean, obviously emotions are running high there.
Yeah, obviously it's a proud moment. We get named captain of any team, but especially a place that you call home, it makes it that much more special. So it's an honor and a privilege to wear the letter, and I think as a whole, a group, we have a good leadership group with us. You can't replace Adam Party with anybody. 350 plus NHL games, and the majority of his career he's been in the NHL. That part is obviously huge for myself because I'm still trying to learn, and the rest of the young guys here. And then you throw in like a Gabranson and O'Brien that have been around, both have Calder Cups, so they bring that winning atmosphere to the team as well. So in a leadership group, it kind of makes it a little bit easier on myself that we do have some guys with experience to kind of help out, and we kind of work as a whole.
James, you know what it's like here inside Mile 1 Center or the old St. John's Memorial Stadium, the old lady by the lake down there, and they got kitty bitty, but they love their physical hockey, and there's surprisingly been a little more physicality that games I've seen so far that wasn't accustomed to and didn't really realize that. But I love that part of the game. I'm sure you do too. But the fans do like when there's a knockdown or there's a scrap, and especially if it's a hometown boy. And I know you've been spurred on a few times, and you're doing it for your team, to stand up for your teammates, etc. And you had an incident earlier in the season down in Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm going to ask you outright. I know you got suspended for 5 games, but if you had to do it again, would you? And explain what exactly happened and how that all came to be.
I think the biggest part for myself is, and the rest of the team, everybody's super competitive guys on our team. So the level of compete that we play with and the level of like energy and stuff ends up happening. As far as my 5-game vacation, we'll call it, it just, you know, people taking advantage of your star players, and something happened, and next thing I knew I was on the ice from off the bench to kind of let teams know that they can't come in and walk over us. It's something that I've done since I was in junior, sticking up for teammates and stuff like that. So it's just kind of to send a message that, you know, things like that don't be taken lightly, and nobody's going to come in and walk over our team and our family, because at the end of the day, you spend pretty much every day with these guys for 7 or 8 months, so you become pretty close. But no, I didn't know what was going to happen after the game, after the altercation, and I ended up looking up on Google what the suspension was going to be.
Okay.
The 5-game suspension, it ended up saying, but I was lucky enough when I searched the link on Google, the first link was Ryan Close suspended 2 games for leaving the bench for an altercation. So that put my mind at ease a little bit. Obviously, you never ever want to put your team down, and you want to always be there to help, but I think obviously it puts a little bit of trust in your teammates, and they gain a little bit of respect that they know that you have your back when stuff hits the fan.
Awesome. So would you do it again?
It's tough. I mean, everything happens super quick in this game, and you can never really say that you would do something or not. It's just split second things happen. But picking up for teammates is something that I take pride in. And obviously, being one of the bigger guys and a more physical presence and the past that I've had in the last couple of hockey seasons, I might be looked upon a little bit more to bring a little bit more of a physical aspect. So when the time comes and you need to step in for your team and your family, you make sure you do the right thing.
Oh boy, never change that at all. Keep that part of your game. James, you got great support. Your family from the Goulds, nearby St. John's, a lot of people say, where's the Goulds? And you and I have joked about this. It goes way back to your Portland Pirate days, coming in here to play the St. John's Ice Caps and that, but Goulds rules. Explain that to me a little bit. And for the benefit of our viewers.
I mean, it's been bounced around for a long time. It's obviously a smaller place where everybody kind of knows everybody, and it's like a lot of the towns in the province that everybody's super proud of where they come from. And I know myself, when I was looking to buy a house, my buddies and my family pretty much gave me no option. They're like, you got to be living in the Goulds. So I ended up buying a house in the Goulds, and that's where I live in the summers. And obviously now being at home, I get to settle in a little bit. So yeah, you can pretty much tell when you're getting close to the Goulds by the smell, and a lot of people don't like it, but for me, living away for so long, you get the little smell of cow manure, and it brings you back to your home. So no, it's like I said, a super people are proud to be from the Goulds, and myself included, super happy to be born and raised and come up through there. So it's good to be home for sure.
Hometown boy makes good. Well, you've got quite an entourage too. I remember back in the day when you played with the Portland Pirates coming home. You guys had quite a cheering section, obviously, amongst the season ticket holders for the Ice Caps. Mama was right in the middle of it all there most nights, stirring the pot, cheering for her boy and for his team. I mean, you've got to love that. I mean, you come that far, you know, away with another hockey club to come in here, and you're a hometown guy. You want to hear the cheers, obviously, and your family, I mean, they've been behind you since day one, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, family for me is number one. Like you said, they've supported me my whole way, and now it's kind of a cool experience to be at home, and my family can come to every game. My parents come to every game. I got my grandparents 2 tickets for the games as well. So my grandmother comes to every game. She loves it. My grandfather comes to. He'll probably miss one in a while, but no, it's pretty cool having them here. And then obviously friends and stuff of that nature, being able to come and watch is kind of super exciting as well, because they kind of think this is their NHL. You know, their best buddy is playing at home at the Mall 1, and they're super proud of me, my family, especially coming from everywhere across the province. They come in for a weekend to watch a couple of games and stuff like that. It's super cool. So no, when I was picking the seats for my parents and my grandparents, they were going, well, where should we go? And I said, well, probably not close to the bench because you don't want to hear what I'm saying, but far enough from the penalty box too, so you definitely don't hear what I'm saying.
Yeah. Fantastic. James Melindy from the Goulds, number 43 in the Newfoundland Growlers. This is On the Growl, and I'm Brian Rogers with James here at Molson Center. I'm not going to beat my own drum, but you had an excellent game before going on the road trip, or you got to go down and sun a little bit after going to Reading. You got out of Reading, and you were probably high time you got out of Reading, right? And then got down to Jacksonville, Orlando, and such. But before you went, there was a game here at Molson where you guys picked up a big victory against Manchester, I believe, and you saved 2 goals in that game. You were like a stopper without pads. You were the Molson Coors third star, and I was happy. You earned it, full flat out earned it. The ovation. I took my headset off to make sure I heard. And I'm sure you did too. That had to feel good.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels good to be obviously acknowledged for the work that you do. And for me and my game, I'm not always going to show up on the score sheet in regards to goals and assists, but I like to think that I'm good defensively and hard to play for opposing teams, and just try to make players uncomfortable on the ice so that they can't do what they're usually going to do. And obviously in that game that you're speaking about, our penalty kill was obviously really, really good, and the puck that squeaked through Garth's and ended up diving back, and we kind of joked about it after because I shot it out and it ended up hitting one of their players in the chest and it came right back to him. So we were laughing about that. He said, you had to make me make an extra save, but
James Melindy on the Growl with Brian Rogers here at Molson Center. Just a couple more things, James. I'm going to ask you about James, because growing up I was kind of a nickname nut. I had lots of buddies, and we used to cat around all the time as youngsters when we were playing sports or whatever we were up to, and I can't mention most of that stuff as a youngster, but nicknames were a sign of affection, and it all depended what day it was, and I'd come up with a different nickname for different buddies depending on what would happen and arise. But you go by James now. In the real world, I guess, you might be called Jamie, Jimbo, it could be anything. But you go by James. Explain to me why you just go by James. I don't want to call you Jamie because I got a feeling I might get a punch in the mouth.
Yeah. So the Jamie thing, when I was a kid, anytime anybody would call me Jamie, I would absolutely lose my mind. I was having no part of it. My parents always get a good kick out of it, and then you get some people calling me Jimmy and stuff like that. But for the most part, I was called James growing up. Not so much now. I'm always kind of called on a nickname basis, more like Mel or Meller. And I don't even kind of know where some of them have started. I've definitely been called some good ones, a lot more bad. But
figure that out.
But yeah, I think first when I moved away to Notre Dame when I was 14, all the guys up there from the prairie started calling me
Wilcox, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, from Wilcox started calling me Mel, and then it kind of just translated into Meller, and that's kind of what I go with now, and everything kind of in between.
Okay, so Mel's,
yeah.
Not Melinda.
No.
Sorry, I had
now,
yeah,
no, absolutely. Right? That's usually when we're in opposing teams' ranks. I get called Melinda by the fans a lot. But I get a good kick out of it. If I can get them kind of going on my case a bit, I know that I'm probably doing a pretty good job on the ice. So.
Well, you've been doing a great job, James. Congratulations for being named the captain of the Newfoundland Growlers. And here's hoping the support picks up a nerve, beginning with the first of 2 against Brampton, the only other Canadian team in the league, formerly affiliated with Montreal, now Ottawa. So there's, should be intense hockey in a weekend, and the fans start to pick up on that because this is a team well worth coming out to watch. The prices are reasonable, and it's an entertaining night out here. And if we can put 62-87 in there every night, you guys are just going to get better and better. And obviously, right now you're at the top of the entire league, so people need to know that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's super exciting for the team that we get to come back for a pretty significant homestand here, where we've been on the road quite a bit for the first little bit of the season. So obviously playing Brampton the first 2 games of this homestand is kind of that Canadian rivalry that they're trying to start up. And I think it's good because they have a good team. Obviously, we got a good thing started going here now that we want to continue. And being on the road the last 10 days and getting 7 out of possible 10 points is kind of what you want to shoot for. Obviously, we would have wanted to get 10 out of 10, but hockey doesn't work that way. You can't win every one. But no, we're excited to get home and hopefully, you know, win some more games and keep at the top of those standings for sure.
Yeah, and lastly, I got to get this in because John Long is our videographer who handles On the Growl, the producer of On the Growl, and a neighbor of yours growing up, and he was crowing about your mother's wonderful cooking. And I look at the size of you two youngsters. What was Mama cooking up? How did Longer get in there anyways? What, are you knocking on the door? You could smell the food next door or something?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, this must have been before I moved away. He would have lived right next door, so he would have seen me doing a lot of stick handling out in the park or out in the driveway and shooting pucks, and probably probably being a menace for most of it. But no, my mom is an excellent cook, and that was always something I looked forward to. Being away, coming home, whether it be for Christmas break or at the end of the season, you always want a mama's home cooked meal. Absolutely. And she never does anything in proportion of you know, making it just be good and satisfying. She always needs to make you feel like you're sick when you're leaving. There's 5 courses and dessert, and there's always trying to get you to leave with more food. So
doggy bagging it?
Yeah, doggy bagging it. So no, lots of good meals, and especially with Christmas coming up, I might have to try to shy away from my parents' house a little bit more so I don't gain a couple extra pounds over the break. But no, my mom's cooking is obviously something that I enjoy a ton, and even my friends and stuff. Well, first when I moved away, my buddies would still go to my house and go, oh, like, hey Sharon, can you make me some crepes this morning? And they'd always come in and stuff like that. So I think, you know, obviously the support of my parents, well beyond cooking and stuff like that, is not unnoticed. And I know a lot of times you don't think about saying thank you enough, and it's not just for me, just for anybody. You know, thank your parents and anybody that's brought you up to be where the place you are now. It's something that should never be overlooked, and not that it is. It's just maybe saying thank you or I love you a couple more times. It'll never hurt and put definitely a smile on their face. Great to be thankful, is it not, my friend? It is, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it so much, James. All Great job on the Growl. A lot of fun sitting down and having a yarn. I thought it was going to be peaceful. Yeah, nothing to it. Fun, no, you know, just relaxed and everything. And congrats again on being named captain. And it's just we're thankful that pro hockey is back in Newfoundland and Labrador. We have a lot of people to thank for that, but you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up on the ice, and these fans are going to come around, I guarantee you. We start getting 5,000, 6,000 in here, and then you guys can just take off from there. You're doing a great job so far, so keep rolling. Good luck the weekend. Perfect. Thank you very much for having me. For On the Growl with James Melindy from the Goulds, Newfoundland and Labrador, I'm Brian Rogers. Go Growlers, go. Let's see you the weekend against Brampton.